There are multiple hot springs to choose from once you get to Idaho and Montana. Jerry Johnson is one of my favorites, as is Goldbug Hot Spring, and as is this hot spring. This spring, though, is a little small, and it gets cramped really quick. We enjoyed ourselves at the hot spring, then heading down the Lochsa River with the idea that we would eventually make Astoria, Oregon. After traveling all day long, we were just exhausted, and although we had spotted a free campground along the Columbia River Gorge, we decided that we had to do something immediately. We just didn't feel safe continuing on. So we pulled into Lewis and Clark State Campground in Washington. Well, I gotta tell you, it was a little disturbing to find the price of this campground way out in the middle of nowhere at $33 a night. That seems exorbitant. You could say, well, it's just one night in a campground. What's the problem? But I have to look at it from a different perspective. When you're on the road full-time, van dwelling, like I am, then you can't look at it from a point of view of, well, it's $33 tonight, but maybe nothing tomorrow. You have to think in terms of, well, if I stayed here for 30 days, how much would it cost me each month to stay here? And that fee ends up being over $1,000 a month, which for a guy who's living on Social Security would not be possible. It just would be way, way, way out of the budget. So what the Washington people are doing is creating campgrounds only for the wealthy. You have to be pretty well-to-do to blow $1,000 a month on camping. It just isn't in the cards. Come on, Washington. You guys can do better than this. These prices are outrageous, and you know it. I think it's a little bit about what they think they can get out of us, and really not about what they're offering in return. Well, enough of the rant. The trip down the Columbia River Gorge is amazing, as always. Often I will choose the northern route through Washington down the Columbia River Gorge instead of the southern route. I think there are fewer towns, and for some reason, although it's just across a river, it seems more remote, and I sure love remote. Soon enough, we came to the Corps of Engineers campground, which is free according to my information. All you have to do is not go during prime fishing time. Then you might not find a spot at all. There's nothing fancy about it, pit toilets and the whole works, but if you're just looking for a place to crash overnight and feel safe about it, well, this is your spot. We even got to race a train, which was a lot of fun. This one's doing about 60 miles an hour, right along the Columbia River Gorge. Finally, we came to one of my favorite stops along the way, Multnomah Falls. This little park actually has two waterfalls, Multnomah and the fall next to it. So be sure to visit both of them when you go. Those are my friends, Jimmy and Selena, up there on the bridge right now. Now the secret about visiting Multnomah Falls, which I had to learn the hard way, is it's always better to leave somebody at the base to take your picture after you make the horrible trip up the mountainside to visit the bridge. Otherwise, you'll make the difficult journey up and then realize there was nobody there to memorialize your effort. So leave somebody at the base if you can. We had a great time at the adjacent fall called Horsetail Falls. Now this area was closed a few years ago because a 15-year-old playing with fireworks ignited a hillside, causing a massive forest fire. So please, control your children. Don't let them play with fireworks in the middle of the forest. Things can get out of hand. Now, I wonder who these people are. Well, you're going to meet a lot of different people when you come to the falls. Maybe you'll get lucky. And a couple of people will just swim from underneath the falls. A couple of beauties. I got to tell you, half the fun of going to these tourist attractions is watching to see what all the tourists do. People do the craziest things, and I guess I'm part of all of that craziness too. I have a lot of fun at these tourist places, but it sure is fun to see what everybody else is up to. So be sure to visit the Twin Falls, Multnomah and Horsetail Falls. I'm sure you'll have a fun just like we did. After visiting Horsetail Falls, Multnomah Falls is just down the road.
Remember this was all closed last time because of the fire?
We had such a hard time finding a parking spot that finally we gave up, went back to the main highway, and parked in the parking lot in the opposing lane from the falls. There's a tunnel underneath the highway, and it just turned out to be easier to do that than try to park right at the falls. You'll find a gift shop, travel services, a good restaurant, and a large bathroom complex at the falls. So be sure to go visit Multnomah Falls and Horsetail Falls in Oregon. Oh, and don't forget the ice cream too. What I want to say to every one of you is that if you have a dream of getting out and traveling, it can come true. You have to use a little planning, and sometimes things aren't exactly as you want them to be. But if this is something you really want to do, I encourage you, flip the key, head out. It'll all work out in the end. Guys, I really love making these videos, and I really appreciate you guys following along. Tell me in the comments below, would you swim out from underneath those falls? I'll bet the water was frigid. Where would you like to see me go next? And what are your thoughts? If you like the video, please press like. And for sure, subscribe if you haven't already. And press the little bell thingy so you know whether I've been uploading videos recently or not. Okay, my friends, we'll see you soon. This is Tim Painter for The Van Life.
That's probably the only